Hi everyone! In this video we will factor a trinomial with a equals 1. Factor v squared plus 2v minus 48. The a equals 1 comes from the standard or the general form where a is the coefficient in front of the x squared, b is the coefficient in front of the x, and c is the coefficient with no x. And so we can see that ours has a 1 in front of the v because nothing's there, so it's implied. And to factor this, we will take c and factor it with all of the factors that we can. So we'll take 48 and we will find all of the factors starting with 1. 1 and 48 make 48. 48 is even, so it's divisible by 2, and that's 2 times 24. It's also divisible by 3. 3 times 16, and you can just use your calculator for this. It's also divisible by 4. 4 and 12, and it is not divisible by 5, but it is divisible by 6. 6 times 8, and if 7 doesn't go in, which it doesn't, then we're done, because then we would start moving up the other side, which would be 8, 12, 16. So we can stop here, and now we're going to find the numbers that are from the factors that will give us the middle term. So we're going to look at our sign of the final term, and it's negative. This means that we will have different signs of the factors to get the middle term. So then we look at the middle term. This is positive. This means that the larger number will match this, and it's positive. If it were negative, the larger number would be negative. So I'm going to go through all of this, and there are different signs. So the larger is positive, we discovered, and the smaller is going to be negative. Now we're going to find a combination to give us a positive 2. When I add the first two together, negative 1 plus 48 gives me positive 47. That's not 2. So we'll go to the next one. Negative 2 plus 24 gives us positive 22, which is also not 2. And the next one, negative 3 plus 16, is positive 13, so that doesn't work. And negative 4 plus 12 is positive 8. And then negative 6 plus 8 is positive 2. So our factors that we're going to be using are negative 6 and positive 8. So we will replace our positive 2v with our negative 6 plus 8. And you can do it in any order you'd like. You can do the negative 6 or the positive 8 first. I'm going to go ahead and go in the order that we found. So I'm going to do negative 6, and we're replacing the 2, but we need to give it the variable, so we'll put the v here, plus 8, again giving it the v, and then we have minus 48. Now that we have replaced our middle term, we're going to group and factor out the greatest common factor. This is factor by grouping, the greatest common factor from the first two and the last two. The greatest common factor of the first two seems to just be v. So we will factor out the v, leaving us with v, because v squared divided by v is v. And minus 6v divided by v is just minus 6. Now for the second two, I have a greatest common factor between 8 and 48 is just positive 8. So we'll factor out the 8, which leaves us v, and negative 48 divided by 8 is minus 6. Once we have factored out the greatest common factor, we factor it out again from the greatest common factor of our two much larger terms, 1, 2. And I can see that our greatest common factor is the binomial, v minus 6, which it should be. So if that matches, that is kind of like a roadmap that you know you're on the right direction. So we're going to factor out our v minus 6, factoring it out of both terms. That leaves me with v plus 8. So we'll fill in our second binomial with v plus 8. And now we've factored our trinomial with a equals 1. If you want to check this, you can go ahead and FOIL to check and make sure that you get the exact same trinomial from the beginning. If you FOIL and you get this, then you factored correctly. I won't go ahead and spend the time to do that in this video, but you can try it for your own practice. And we're all done.